So I'm going to use the heart bowl here. And the first thing that you will want to know is that you have received one of these, a rubber mallet. Yours will look a little bit rounder than that. This one has had a lot of use. Your bowl and a rubber ring. So the first thing you need to do is to pop the ring down on the floor or the table that you're playing on and put your bowl on as straight as you can. You want it to be level and straight so it's secure, it's not going to rock or roll. When you're using smaller bowls, it's very important to do this. Larger bowls have a lot more weight, easier to be stable. The smaller bowls can be a little bit more unstable. And then the next thing we're going to look at is how you actually use your rubber mallet. So everybody is a little bit different. I tend to hold my rubber mallet like this. So the thumb is on the side, the second finger is in the front, and the third finger is stabilizing it behind it. When it sits there, it's actually, you don't have to put a lot of pressure on it. It just almost holds in that position. So again, you've got the thumb on the side, the second finger at the front, and the middle finger at the back, just supporting it, and it kind of locks it into place. Now, when you actually play, you play on the outside of the bowl. Now, what everybody wants to do when they've first got their bowls is to go really crazy. Now, as you can hear, it's kind of bouncy and raspy, and it's like quite an intense sound. So you don't need to play it that hard. You can actually play it quite softly. So this is it's not rigid, it's quite actually loose. And I'm just using more of the arm than the fingers. So the action is in the arm. And you can actually, I'm going quite softly here, and when you're going softly, you get that nice even sound. And as you can see, once you get to a certain point of resonance, you can just run it backwards and forwards in a small position instead of having to go the whole way around. The problem with applying too much pressure and continually going all the way around is it'll get too loud. I'm still going very slow, but you can see already that's quite an increase in volume. And sometimes you want to have a subtle sound. And sometimes you'll find when you're going and it gets really loud, you can take it off and allow it to just come back down. And then you want to bring your mallet back onto it moving so it doesn't interrupt it. And then you can keep that sound going again. And this is another way to control the sound. So you can see that's coming up to a little bit of a higher volume. Now it's easy for me to keep going, it gets louder and louder, but I don't need to keep going. I can stop, let it tone back down a little bit, and then come on to the bowl moving and keep that going. Coming back on moving. And of course, we're just focusing on one bowl here because at the moment, you're more than likely just going to have the one bowl. When we stop, that sound will keep reverberating for quite some time. So another thing that you can also do with the rubber mallets is strike the bowls. You don't have to hit them that hard. I'm actually hitting them fairly softly. And kind of the more smooth and even, the kind of crisper the sound. It can be a little bit abrasive if you're hitting them really hard. Sometimes if you want, you can actually, we'll stop that. Sometimes if you want, you can strike the bowl and start playing it. Because it's already got that resonance, it gets the resonance going, and then instead of having to use the mallet to get that going, then you just start to gently use the bowl and it's ready to go. So we'll recap a little bit of what we've just done. You've got your rubber mallet, you've got your grip. You can play with your own grip ideas, whatever feels comfortable for you. I'm left-handed. You might be right-handed. So just adapting. This is just what I do. The opportunity is there to create your own style, to create what works for you and what feels good. So we can start the bowl by going around gently, and you can hear it slowly start to come up in volume and vibration. Then once we get to a level that is appealing to us, gently you can just keep that sound going by gently going backwards and forwards. Now, you're probably going to find that you're going to over grip and push tight, and it's actually harder to maintain the control. Like, it's harder to get going, and then it's really easy to go too loud. And so it's really about softening the grip, gently allowing yourself moving your arm to build it up nicely, and then to find a point at which the sound is nice and even. And if it gets a little bit too loud, just take your mallet off, allow it to tone back down a little bit so it's not too intense, and then come back on. Again, moving your mallet slowly back on. It doesn't have to be even all the time. It's nice to kind of bring it up and then to bring it down, almost like waves. Quite beautiful, quite calming. And the other way I spoke of was to actually tap it and then start running your rubber mallet from there, and it's already resonating. So you don't really have to do much after that. You just need to keep that resonance going. It's very easy to go too hard and to kind of end up with a really invasive sound. Sometimes that's what's called for in a healing session, depend on what's happening with the person or the group you're dealing with. But if you're doing a sound bath, often you're looking for something that's really peaceful or beautiful, something that, you know, allows people to really kind of go within. And so you just want to find that lovely point of divine sound. And then of course we talked about striking. I don't strike the bowl that I'm playing a lot when I'm playing, but you can. So you can see here we're playing. Normally, if I'm going to strike a bowl, I will strike another bowl while I'm playing a bowl. Because then it doesn't interrupt the flow of the bowl that's actually playing. And it creates quite a beautiful interaction between the reverberation of the two bowls. And then when you throw some vocals into that, it's actually quite amazing what happens. So this is your bonus commencement video, just to give you something to play with, a little bit of guidance to work with in the next week leading up to our first session next Saturday on September 11th. We'll kick off at 9:30 to 12. And so you guys can hit the ground running and get into it, play. What we need right now is vibration and healing. And they're beautiful to use if you're finding yourself stressed, if you're finding yourself depressed or angry. It's amazing what will happen if you sit down for 10 minutes with a bowl and just play. Play and pray, or just play and sing, or just play. Just listen. Allow the sound just to shift your vibration and bring you back into the present. Quite amazing. So I look forward to seeing you next Saturday. And have fun with your bowls.